there was a black man who was in South Carolina during slavery who somehow got granted his freedom by his so-called master. And when his master granted him the freedom, he also gave him a plot of land. Now, it turns out this brother was brilliant. He had a good eye, a good knack for farming. And he farmed this plot of land very successfully and made a lot of money. And this is where the story gets crazy. When he got all that money, this nigga bought some slaves. Not only was he a slave owner, he became a slave breeder and employed tactics that were so cruel, even white slave owners were like, yo, my man. He was a wild dude, but he did it just because that's what successful people did at the time, and he just wanted to be down. What a fucking tragedy. How can a person that went through slavery perpetrate the same evil on a person that looks just like him? It's mind-blowing. And, shockingly, they're making a movie about it. Ironically, it's called Space Juice.
Is that a true story? Is there a movie really coming out called Space Juice? I'm gonna Google it. Anyway, that story isn't that unique. There is a lot of black slave owners that exist, and unfortunately it's because it was just a part of culture back then. I know a lot of people think that people who existed during tragedies like slavery, like what happened to the Jews, like any other genocide, that the whole culture, the whole society must have been made up of just a bunch of evil, horrible sociopaths or psychotics, but that's not true. There were really normal people that were convinced that these things were okay. I mean, there are people being forced into enslavement today in countries today where people in those societies think it's okay, because unfortunately even horrible genocides like 66 million unborn children can be normalized in cultures and societies, even though it's horrific. Dealing out the abuse that you have suffered yourself is also not unique. Take female genital mutilation that goes on in certain cultures and communities on this planet. And a lot of times, I think people think that because it's women and little girls, that it are the men who are doing this mutilation. And in some cultures, it is the men. But in a lot of cultures, it's the women. The women themselves who had this horrific thing done to them in some of the most brutal fashions, will they'll turn around and do it to their own children and then in children in their community. And I mean horrific fashion. No anesthesia, no pain medicine, just brutal with, you know, objects that aren't really medical grade, and completely removing the entire vagina, not just the clit, like some people think. Some cultures just do that. And then wrap the little girl's legs up together, bound them up, throw them in a closet somewhere in the dark, and just leave them there to cry in pain. This happens in communities, and it's usually done by the women that has also had this done to them. So the idea of people perpetrating violence and cruelty, even though it was done to them, is not that unique, because again, anything can be normalized in society, because society, I think, is just human nature to follow and do whatever you are told or told that is right. And then you have some individualists, you have some unique people in those societies that see the tragedy and try to speak up for it, like women in these communities who do step out of these communities and try to educate the other women how horrific female genital mutilation really is, or like the people who try to stop slavery, or the people who help the Jews. So, but unfortunately, horrific things do continue to happen because those at the time are just a part of culture and society. Anyway, guys, tell me what you think in the comment section below. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to get the notifications when I do upload. All of that really does help with the algorithm, and you guys have a nice day. Bye!